1.4 part 2. Solving for a specific variable. All right, A. They want us to solve for y. Okay, let's see. So here's my equation, and they want us to solve for this guy right here. So that means y has to be on one side of the equation, all by itself. There's my dotted line. So that means when I'm done, y equals, I don't care what's on the other side, as long as y is by itself. So I'm going to have to isolate this term first. So I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides. Okay, these add up to 0. I get my negative 3y by itself. Please do not put 1x here. Okay, you cannot combine those unlike terms, sorry. I'm going to put my negative 7x first and then my positive 8. If you want to put 8 minus 7x, have at it. I don't care. Now I still have to get y by itself. I'm going to divide by the coefficient negative 3. Divide by the coefficient negative 3. These cancel the 1. That's my answer. Y equals all of that. Y equals all of that stuff. I don't care what's on this side as long as y is by itself. Okay? Pretty easy, right? Right? All right, B, solve for t. Here's my t. This one's really easy because it's all multiplication, right? P times R times T. So just divide both sides by what you don't want. In this case, the P and the R. Okay, the P and the R cancel. And I get I over PR. And I get T by itself. Easy, right? C, we're supposed to solve for x. Here's my x. So let's get rid of the 9y. Add 9y to both sides. These add up to 0. I get my 11x. Do not combine these. 9y minus 4. And divide both sides by the coefficient. So that's my answer. X equals 9y minus 4 all over. On the video, it makes a big yellow circle. Okay, D. Solve for y. Well, here's a y, and here's a y. How do I do this? They're in two terms. So I got to remember, whatever I do to one side, I got to do to the other, right? Here's my dotted line. So you want me to divide by y. Good start. And since every term has a y, these all cancel out. I get x equals 10 over y. Actually, this is x minus 1, right? Because y over y is 1. Okay, now what? Now you're stuck again. Well, if we multiply by y, we're just going to get back to that, right? Because we divided by y. The thing, this is on your first quiz, and I'd say more than half of you, A, are going to skip it, or B, they forget that they have to get the y in one term first. So, how do I get xy minus y to one term? Yes. Well, that'd be pretty messy because this becomes y over x. Remember, a term is separated by a plus or minus sign. That's why I have two terms here, because it's separated by a minus. What if I take a common factor of y out of this term and this term? So I'm going to divide both of those by y. What do I have left when I take xy divided by y? X. So I'm going to do it down here. So I have an x, and what if I take y divided by y? What do I get? What's anything over itself? 1. I am down to one term, aren't I? Ain't I? Because this is now a quantity. This is one number here, because it's in parentheses, times another number. This is all one term. All I did was use the distributive property backwards. If you want to think of it as undistribute, go ahead. Care. But if I were to distribute the y, I'd get back my xy minus y, right? So I used the distributive property backwards. Went the other way. Now that I have one term, now I divide by the y. No, I'm sorry. Now I'm going to divide by the x minus 1 to get rid of that. Okay. Since this is multiplication, I can cancel those out. And I get the y equals 10 over x. Now you don't need the parentheses, but probably a good idea to get in the habit of. It's actually a pretty tough problem. Okay, so let's look at it this way. What if I had 2x plus 4? What's a common factor I can take out of both terms? 2, right? So what I'm actually doing is I'm taking 2x, divide by 2. What does that give me? An x, right? And then I'm taking the 4, dividing it by 2, gives me 2. That goes here. If I were to use a distributive property, instead of dividing, I would multiply, right? 2 times x, 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. So that's what I'm doing here. On the x, y minus y, I'm taking out the common factor y. Okay? xy divided by y gives me x, and y divided by y gives me 1. So I just made 2 terms into one term, because with this parentheses, it makes it a quantity, and that's just one number, not two terms anymore. Okay? Remember PEMDAS, parentheses first, it's going to make it one number. A little tricky, very technical thing. Think of it as undistribute. That's the best thing I can tell you. Distribute. Yes. Problem just like this is going to be adequate. Friday, by the way. What's Friday? Yes, sir. No, not a thing. Can't even have your phone out. You're not going to fail. No, you're not. Day before, last week, where you take a value for X and you plug it in. I think we did expressions. Now you do equations and just solve for X. So I have 3 plus 2y equals -1 for X, and then solve for Y. Subtract 3 from both sides. Get 2y equals -4, so what's Y? -2. B, -4 for X. So I have -4y minus y equals -4. Combine like terms on the same side of the equal sign. -4y minus 1y is -5y equals -4. Divide both sides by the coefficient -5. And y equals either -4 over -5 or just 4/5. Doesn't matter to me. Example 3, some more word problems. Now you guys are starting to scare me with your algebra skills. Okay, you are organizing a benefit concert. You plan on having only 2 types of tickets, adult and child. Write an equation with more than one variable that represents the revenue from the concert. Okay, so we need to represent the revenue. So that equals the revenue, right? Right. Okay, so the tickets are going to be adult tickets plus the child tickets, right? So all I have to do is write an equation with more than one variable. Well, here's my variable for adult. Here's my variable for child. Here's my variable for revenue. I'm done. But example 4 says, well, start solving stuff. Okay. Remember, was it yesterday or maybe even last week where they had that little insert where it said to figure out the cost? It was the number of tickets or the number of whatever it is times the cost of that. Remember that little blurb in between the paragraphs? That's what we're going to do here. Okay. For the concert in example 3, your goal is to sell $25,000 in tickets. So that's my revenue, right? My R. So looks like we got 3 problems to do. You plan to charge $25.25 per adult. Now, they give us the 200 child tickets, and they tell us 800 adult tickets. So the number of tickets is my 800 plus times the cost of the tickets, which is $25.25, right? And we're going to add to it the number of child tickets. In this case, they want us to use 200. Do we know the cost of the child tickets? How much did you charge per child? No, that's my X or C. So all I have to do is figure out that, and it'll tell me the number or the cost of each child ticket, right? Okay. 800 times 2525. It's coming in my head right now. Tommy, thinking about it? 20,200. I knew I could do it. 200C equals wait, what's my revenue? 25,000. Subtract 20,200. Subtract 20,200. Let's see, that gives me 200C equals 8 something. 48. Then divide both sides by 200. I can do this easy. The cost is going to be 48 divided by 2 is 24. And then the zeros cancel, so it's 24 bucks. And I really don't want to go through this math. I'll do 400. It's the same thing, except 200, I'm going to plug in 400. So instead of 200, I'm going to plug in 400. So everything else stays the same. 800 times 25 plus 400 times C is going to equal 25,000. Let's see, this was 2,200 plus 400C equals 25,000. Subtract 2,200, so I'm going to get 400. C equals 4,800. And divide both sides by 400. 48 divided by 4 is 12. Okay.